What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Yeah. Check it out, man. We're gonna rock this joint with the Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Aaliyah. Rest in peace, Pimp C. And I apologize, but I don't know who this other dude is. Shout out to him. Bodies and victims, and I don't know who he is. Did he rest in peace if he passed away? Because, you know, you never know with Jay-Z. But anyway, check this out, man. The demise of Jay-Z and Roc Nation. This is an hour long. I had to go pick mom up. She's doing better. She feels good. My headache has been gone, man, for the last week or so. I ain't been messing with that BC powder. I've been drinking plenty of water. I've been slowing down on a lot of these tablets for your kidney stone. Maybe the kidney stone is gone. I don't know. But anyway, hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Hot dag, miss my echo. Let's check it out.
Right after Diddy got arrested in 2024, people began asking if Jay-Z's downfall would follow. Would he be the next gatekeeper to get exposed for all he has done? At a certain point, it seemed like Jay-Z was going to deal with the same fate as Diddy when he was named in his own horrific lawsuit, accusing the rapper of R-wording a 13-year-old alongside Diddy at a celebrity party. Jay-Z somehow managed to escape that incident without losing it all, but it already had put the wheels in motion for the Roc Nation downfall, as ever since that day, Roc Nation and Jay-Z have been getting exposed left and right. Now, it's only a matter of time before the massive corrupt empire he built comes crashing down. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about Jay-Z and Roc Nation. Let's get right into it. The truth is, Jay-Z is one of the biggest hip-hop artists to ever live. With a massive catalog and never-ending achievements, Jay-Z has become one of the faces of hip-hop. According to Jay-Z, he managed to escape the slums of Brooklyn and make it to the top of the music industry and then the top of the world. But how exactly did he go from being just another Brooklyn dealer to the mega rap superstar he is today? According to Jay-Z, before he was married to Beyonce and hanging out with billionaires, he was living the street life and committing crimes to survive in the gritty streets of Brooklyn. Jay-Z tells his story in his music, painting his come up as an artist who made it from nothing, simply using rap skills and street money that he got from being New York's best hustler. Jay-Z was born December 4th, 1969 in Brooklyn, New York. He had a tough upbringing, being raised in the ghettos of Brooklyn and one of the worst project buildings to ever exist, called Marcy Projects. He was raised in a single-parent home after his father abandoned the family at an early age. Jay-Z's mother would realize that he was into music, so she decided to gift him a beatbox for his birthday. Jay started freestyling over popular songs played on the radio and started writing lyrics down to them. This is where his dreams of becoming a rapper would come to life. Jay built up his confidence on the mic and took to the streets, joining in on local freestyles, battling people all over the city. He would eventually become known for rapping around his neighborhood, which gave him some local street recognition. This is the same time Jay-Z claims he was in the streets working as a dealer in Brooklyn in order to survive. Jay-Z would meet and befriend Jaz-O, a local rapper who would go on to mentor Jay-Z in his early career. Jay-Z even named himself after Jaz-O. He would then go on to start building a bit of a name for himself in the underground battle rap scene, eventually battling a few big name rappers like LL Cool J. In 1994, Jay-Z would meet DJ Clark Kent, who took a liking to Jay-Z's rapping, so he connected him with Dame Dash, who at the time was managing another hip-hop group. Together they formed Rockefeller Records in 1995 and quickly began looking for a record label to house the label. They would eventually sign a distribution deal with Priority Records. Just a year later in 1996, Jay-Z would drop his debut album, A Reasonable Doubt, marking the start of his long music career. A few men in the music industry have made it to the level Jay-Z made it to. He is by far one of the most successful artists in hip-hop who managed to build an unstoppable empire. Not only has he generated hundreds of millions of dollars through his music, but through his other lucrative business ventures. While most rappers talk about having money and power, most of them just have some money. Jay-Z, on the other hand, has endless money and real power. The kind of power that fixes anything and destroys anyone. Funny, the very power that made Jay-Z king of hip-hop, it's what's gonna cause his downfall. He has used this power negatively against so many for so many years that they have now started standing up against him. In hip-hop, Roc Nation is not only loved and respected, but it's highly feared. Jay-Z is not only a dangerous man, but also the woman who he has running the operation at Roc Nation, Desiree Perez. Both Jay-Z and Perez have managed to destroy their enemies using strategically constructed plans that take advantage of Roc Nation's immense power and reach within the music industry and even the law. Everyone else in the industry is tired of how Jay-Z is controlling everything. They are tired of pretending like Roc Nation is this great label that does so much for artists. In reality, it is a horrible crime syndicate that operates like a well-organized mob. Just like we saw with Diddy, the Roc Nation RICO might be coming sooner than you expected, not because of the elite wanting Jay-Z out of the way, but because the rest of the music industry is turning on him. When it comes to Jay-Z getting exposed, he's been accused of several horrific things that could all be put in separate categories. The first category has to be corruption and the abuse of power seen from Roc Nation. The second category is his allegations of dealing with minors, with the third and most disturbing category being the alleged bodies Jay-Z has been behind. Let's start with the first category. It has long been rumored that Jay-Z has always used his power as one of the top rappers to hinder other artists' careers. For example, Jay-Z has been accused by many rappers of sabotaging their career because he didn't want them to outgrow him or simply because he didn't like them. Cameron dealt with this early in his career, as Jay-Z didn't really like him when he was signed to Rockefeller Records. At one point, Dame Dash tried to make Cameron the vice president of Rockefeller Records, but Jay-Z blocked this, making sure Cameron would never get into an executive position in the music industry. And it's the reason why Cameron never made it further than an artist. Cam wasn't the only rapper Jay-Z used his power against, as he also did the same thing to DMX. Jay saw just how big DMX was getting and didn't want to let him surpass him, so he did everything in his power to sabotage DMX's career while he was signed to Def Jam, making sure that DMX's sixth studio album didn't get the label support it needed to really take off.
What happened was, like I said, I had the crazy track record at Def Jam, everything was good. I go to do the sixth album, and Jay-Z became president. Yeah. When he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, inmates just running the building, like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? Let's go on vacation, and we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. Because at first you retire, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again. Okay.
This is the same thing the artist MIA accused Jay-Z of doing to her. According to MIA, sometime after signing to Jay-Z, he turned on her after MIA's elite billionaire husband divorced her and told Jay-Z to blackball her, paying him off. MIA claims Jay was paid off by her ex-husband to sabotage her career, blackball her from the industry, and even keep her from her child. On top of this, she even exposed Jay-Z for trying to force her to sell her soul and compromise herself to keep climbing in the music industry.
I had to fight. Of course, if I didn't, I wouldn't have got my foot in the door and fought and kept myself, because I would be doing all this stupid other. And no, I didn't want to drip myself in blood and cover myself and swim in goop, in black goop, and wear devil horns and sell a record. Or be a witch, or be that, all of them. And that is just facts. And no, I'm not going to bleach my skin. No, I'm not going to nose job. No, I'm not going to filler. No, I'm not going to do. No. Because I'm 100% content, happy, and at peace with exactly how God designed it.
Recently, Nicki Minaj seemed to threaten to expose Jay-Z and Roc Nation, claiming that Roc Nation has been intimidating her and sabotaging her career. Nicki went on her Twitter rant where she accused Desiree Perez of begging her to sign a touring deal with Live Nation, which owns part of Roc Nation. But the most disturbing thing she said had to be when she alleged Roc Nation was somehow behind the death of artist D'Angelo. She even went on to claim that she canceled her upcoming album due to Roc Nation. She started her Twitter rant by saying, "Anytime Roc Nation is in the news for something they don't want you to know about, a few things will happen. 1. Will Smith will appear. 2. A famous person is announced dead. 3. Their allies will begin to post and say nasty things about the queen. And 4. Lazy would pop up looking dumb. As you can see, this is an alarming allegation. As she mentioned, when Roc Nation wants to distract the masses, a famous person will be announced dead. Now, the media outlets are reporting that she was referring to D'Angelo, who recently passed away from cancer. If we look at this tweet, Nicki is essentially claiming that Roc Nation is somehow behind his death, referring to his death as being used to sway headlines, which isn't hard to believe when you realize that's exactly what they did to Tory Lanez. Tory literally made an album from prison calling out Jay-Z and exposing him for setting him up. While throughout the album he spoke about the situation many times, his song Verdict Day went in depth and he called out Roc Nation by name, claiming that they were the ones truly behind his imprisonment. He made allegations that Roc Nation set him up for refusing to sign a deal with them and that Meg was used as a pawn to take him down. He also revealed that the music industry has a dark side that the general public doesn't seem to know about. Let's take a look at these lyrics so we can break them down. The first part we need to talk about is the beginning of his verse where he raps, "The verdict day, guilty on all counts. My opposition finally did it. Let the ball bounce. TMZ plays the announcement on the wall mounts. LA County Jail, it yells from the wall sounds. Trial lawyer left me like she's Kevin Lyles. She was in bed with my opposition like wedding vows. Started seeing inconsistencies from bail amounts. The ones who pay her are trying to sue me over Zelle accounts. Set up in the cell and spoke to Rihanna. Only way they can beat me was using the powers within. Sean Holly, that's a name I would call special. Only a special person can rep you and want to dead you. Go to your DNA expert and say don't test you. You fully excluded but inconclusive is what she tells you. The DA's first offer was 9 years. The second, it was 6 at 85, about 5 years. My lawyer keeps on pressing me to take it. I'm like, nah, I ain't do the crime, so I'ma sit down right here. She's losing my bail hearings, I feel like it's on purpose. I begin to side-eye, I'm seeing what's on surface. But she's a black woman, so hey, I say I trust it. But at what point is it? You did me dusty. Working for my accuser and working for me. All the information I gave her is at Roc. Y'all had my lawyer in y'all pockets, she's circling T's. And that's why Megan always talked like jail was certain for me. It's cause y'all paid for them 10 years. Let's keep it honest. My judge sitting at the brunch like, and y'all was seeing outcomes and he was seeing dollars. Why would they go to this extent? Please forgive him, Father. As soon as I realized, you saw it coming. You started to look back on your tracks and got them all covered. You knew that I found out what you did right before the trial. You quit before I fired you and did it with a smile. In this verse, Tory Lanez admits he was defeated, admitting that he was found guilty. He goes on to say his opposition finally did it, meaning Roc Nation finally got him and he couldn't beat them. He then calls out his lawyer for working for the other side. But the reason she did this, according to Tory Lanez, was because she was secretly working for Roc Nation. Tory claims that Sean was working for Roc Nation due to 2 reasons. 1, Sean kept trying to force Tory to take a plea deal that would basically force him to take responsibility for the incident. Tory didn't want to do this because he believed he wasn't guilty. The moment Tory refused to take the plea deal, she decided to abandon the case. On top of this, Tory pointed out a strange coincidence that took place after she left. See, right after she dropped Tory, she released a new TV show that she had executive produced. The TV show was called Reasonable Doubt, which coincidentally just so happens to be the name of one of Jay-Z's top-selling albums. Now, while this might have just been a coincidence, things start to get strange when you go through the titles of each episode. As you can see, each and every episode and even the name of the show comes directly from Jay-Z. Jay-Z, who just so happens to be the owner of Roc Nation. This is already suspicious enough, but it's even more suspicious that one of the first songs they play on the show just so happens to be a Megan Thee Stallion song. Now think about this. In order to have included these songs, they would have needed to get an approval from Roc Nation. So if we look at this wisely, Tory Lanez's lawyer abandons him during the middle of the trial after he refused to take a plea deal. She then ends up making a show named after the prosecutor's victim and star witness's boss, Jay-Z. The show's episode all just so happened to be named after Jay-Z's songs. This pretty much confirmed to me that Tory's lawyer was compromised and most likely was working with Roc Nation. The fact that she openly named an entire TV show after Jay-Z's songs feel like this was purposely done to send Tory Lanez a message. Like Jay-Z wanted Tory Lanez to know he was behind his lawyer leaving him. This is what Tory is referring to with his lyrics, that his lawyer was in bed with the opposition. His lawyer seems to be connected to Roc Nation, and I believe they sent her to bring him down. Tory literally made an album from prison calling out Jay-Z and exposing him for setting him up. Then weeks later, Tory is brutally attacked in prison by a man serving life. This is what usually happens to those who stand up against Roc Nation and Jay-Z. They tend to end up in prison or worse, getting taken out. While Prodigy was locked up in the late 2000s, for whatever reason, he had a change of heart and decided that he wanted to expose the Masonic agenda and go against it. From prison, Prodigy was writing letters, and one letter that he wrote was this one here, dedicated to Jay-Z and his connections to the Masonic order. In the letter, Prodigy wrote, "Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate world. Jay-Z conceals the truth from the black community in the world and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead. I am revealing some astonishing information if people would just do some research. Prodigy, Dr. York, and Africa Bambaataa are the truth. Jay-Z is a lie. I have so much fire in my heart that I will relentlessly attack the Illuminati and every other evil that exists until my lights are put out, which is damn near impossible because my power in the streets is incredible. I fear nothing and no one. I'm fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati's mental enslavement. I have been empowered by God and the universe." Like he said, he was willing to fight to the very end, or like he called it, until they turned his lights out. At that moment, Prodigy didn't realize that he had sealed his fate. Jay-Z was the elite's chosen one, the grand master of the hip-hop Masonic industry. Prodigy had just made him his enemy by exposing him to the world. The whole hip-hop industry feared Jay-Z because of his power. Prodigy took it upon himself to expose Jay, and soon, it would cost him everything. On March 7, 2011, Prodigy was released from prison. He still seemed committed to exposing the secret societies that controlled the world, and he dedicated the next few years of his life to doing that. One of the first things Prodigy did when he got out of prison was do an interview with Alex Jones in which he further exposes the music industry.
You know, it's definitely not a joke, man. There's a lot of real stuff going on out here in this world. Secret societies are real. You know, it's definitely very obvious, you know, that they're at work and it's at play in the music industry, in the food industry, politics. Everywhere you turn is everywhere. You just got to read the signs, you know what I mean? The writing on the wall, basically. It's all in front of your face, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, once people just learn about it and do a little research about it all, they'll be able to see, like, oh, wow, I understand what's going on, you know what I mean? I wrote a lot of letters while I was in there, man. I was doing this thing for Vibe magazine, you know, just writing letters from prison, just expressing myself and things I wanted to get off my chest, things that were on my mind, and I wanted to let people know. And I wanted to show them, even though I was inside, you know, locked in a prison, you know, I wanted to show them that I still had no fear in my heart, you know, about speaking my mind and letting people know what time it is. There's no reason for me to fear because it's really nothing, there's nothing they can do inside. And I'm not afraid of that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like now, they're at the point where they would take it that far. I think they, like this plan that they got into effect, that it's been in effect for hundreds of years or whatever. I think it's so embedded in people's brains now. They got people so brainwashed in this world that they don't even really care anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, go ahead and tell the people what you want. We got these people so brainwashed, there's nothing you guys can do about it. That's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And when I say they, I mean, you know, the powers and the structures that's in place, you know, that's there to control us. You know what I mean? You know, at the end of the day, you know, I always say, like, God always wins at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Good always won't beat evil at the end of the day, man. No matter how bad it's looking, you know what I mean? No matter what's going on, you know what I mean? Good is always going to win. You know what I mean? But right now, you know what I mean? The devil definitely got the world in the headlock. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. And it's at the point where they got it so far. Like I said, they don't even care. They put it all in our face. You know what I mean? It's the information age. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. What's going on? You know, it's all in these books. It's in movies. It's in, you know, it's all over the place. And they got people so brainwashed. You know what I mean? With all the you know, fashion and, you know, jewelry, especially like in the hip hop world. You know, in the hip hop community, in the urban communities where I come from. You know what I mean? They got so.
As you heard for yourself, Prodigy once again makes it clear that the Freemasons are not only controlling the music industry, but also Hollywood, sports, and even politics. He also stated that sadly, the elite have people so brainwashed that they don't even know what's going on. He knew the music had people brainwashed to only care about things that don't really matter, like cars, clothes, and substances. He knew what hip-hop was doing to the urban community, and he tried to expose it. While he was working on the play, he started getting sick due to his sickle cell condition and was forced to stay at the hospital for some time. While at the hospital is when things took a very strange turn. While Prodigy was at the hospital, he mysteriously passed away, but it wasn't because of his medical condition. According to the coroner's report, he passed away after he choked on an egg while staying in a literal hospital. The elite weren't trying to cover this up at all. I believe they were using Prodigy to set as an example for others that try to expose the truth. There is no way they want people to believe Prodigy choked on an egg while he was in the hospital. A place full of doctors and nurses who would know exactly how to deal with a situation like that and keep that man alive. How did they let him choke on an egg? It couldn't be more obvious that this wasn't the case and he was actually taken out. Considering the fact that his passing happened right as he was working on this play that would expose the industry, it can't be a coincidence. I believe they took Prodigy out and shut him up for good. Whatever he was going to expose, they didn't want out there. Everything for Pimp C changed in the 2000s when he made one of the biggest records of his life. Many would say that the song Big Pimpin' was the turning turning point for Pimp C's career. It was the record with Jay-Z that took Pimp C to new commercial heights. While working with Jay-Z might have gotten him to a new level, what most people don't know is that Jay-Z might also be the same reason he's gone. While this song ended up being one of Pimp C's biggest songs, he never wanted to record it. For some reason, he didn't like Jay-Z at all. People claim he didn't like Jay because Jay-Z was friends with Biggie, and Pimp C was a massive Tupac fan. According to Jeff Sledge, who was a former A&R over at Jive Records, Pimp turned down doing the Big Pimpin' song and refused to record it for weeks, telling his people on many occasions, F Jay-Z. Jeff claims that even after Pimp C did the record, he refused to participate in the music video and still kept on saying F Jay-Z. Too Short said the same exact thing on the Shay Shay podcast, claiming that Pimp C really hated Jay-Z.
There's a whole thing with Pimp C, UGK,
yep.
Pimp C and Bun B, and the Big Pimpin' song, and I hear Bun talk about it, and I knew the story. I knew a little bit of it because the label, Jive Records, we're all on the same label, which I get Pimp to do the song, and I knew Pimp's opinion on the situation, and it was open and shut. If you don't fool with Tupac, I don't fool with you.
Right.
No bending of the rules. We're talking about a guy who never met Tupac. He didn't even know him. And he's like, I ride with Pac to the end. But anybody who ever said this on Tupac, ever, Pimp C didn't like you. Just never would do with you ever, ever, ever. So he put Jay-Z in the category of, I don't think Tupac liked him. Tupac wouldn't, as Biggie homie, whatever. I ain't fooling with him. Bun B, the label, myself included, was trying to say, Jay ain't like that, bro. Jay, it's a great opportunity. Right. Jay-Z getting at you.
Right.
Do it. I ain't doing it.
As you heard for yourself, Too Short said the same exact thing as Jeff, making it clear that even though Pimp C did record with Jay, he hated his guts for some reason. Now to me, it doesn't make any sense that he had all this hatred for Jay-Z just because he liked Tupac. According to Too Short, he never actually met Tupac in person. It wasn't like they were close friends or anything like that either. Pimp C wasn't from the West Coast either, so this angle just makes zero sense to me. To me, it's obvious there's another reason Pimp C hated Jay-Z so much. 2 years after Pimp did that massive record with Jay, he was arrested on aggravated assault after he was found guilty of pointing his weapon at a woman he had an argument with inside of a shoe store. He would get out early on good behavior, being released under probation again in December 30th, 2005. Just 2 years later, he would be found unresponsive in a West Hollywood hotel room.
It makes a lot of sense why he didn't want to mess with Jay-Z, because he knew what was going on through the grapevine. And he was real, Pimp C was real street. He was street code. It's a street code. I'm down with Tupac. I'm a writer. I'm a lyricist. So I listen to Tupac, and I'm down with what Tupac is talking about in the streets. And if anybody is not down with Tupac, I ain't down with them, because it's a street code. It's a code. That's all that is.
Early on good behavior, being released under probation again in December 30th, 2005. Just 2 years later, he would be found unresponsive in a West Hollywood hotel room. He was found in his hotel room by staff on his knees in a praying position. There was also blood all over the bed. It was reported that Pimp C had passed away from sleep apnea, which at the time was worsened by his lean use. Just like that, a rap star was gone alone in his hotel room. This is something that always seems to happen in the music industry. The official story that the media was running was that his passing was due to his lean use. But according to his very own mother, who spoke to the head coroner, that wasn't true at all. Pimp C's mom did an interview before she passed away, where she claims that her son's death wasn't related to substances. She insisted that her son was instead set up.
There have been so many, as you said, horrible stories, untruths, and inconsistencies. Now, what I'm going to say now does not come from me, but from the head coroner, whom I talked to when the word first came out about the determination of his death. And the man told me that they really did not know for sure. Mm-hmm. But number one, most and foremost, C did not die of an illegal drug overdose.
Okay, we want to get that clear.
He did not.
Pimp C did not die of a drug overdose.
No. He did. The coroner told me that there was not enough of anything in his system to have killed him. So he did not die of an illegal drug overdose. He also did not die by his own hand. I've heard that one too.
You heard for yourself. Pimp C's own mother didn't believe that Pimp C passed away due to substances. She believed her son was set up. She passed away telling people this and never got the gratification of finding out the truth. Pimp C's protege, a rapper by the name of 17, also believed that Pimp C was taken out. According to him, he believed he was poisoned by someone who was with Pimp C that day.
Feel it was. If it wasn't lean, what was it? Somebody put something in this pack. I mean, damn. I wasn't supposed to say that.
No, you can say that. I mean,
another person who felt Pimp C was set up was his own close cousin Edgar. Edgar claimed that he believes Pimp C was poisoned as well.
Just send me a picture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post this picture because this is a good picture. We're gonna put this picture inside the interview. Okay. I'm gonna show it to my wife. This is Vicious. Bundy was supposed to be here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But he had to go take care of family emergency. Yeah. This was Bundy's rap partner, ex-mom. You know what I'm talking about? And that's Buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, who's Buddy?
When y'all ask me who was Buddy, so tell me about Buddy. Can you?
Buddy didn't kill my cousin.
You got that from a reliable source.
Yeah.
Where did you hear?
So the story I heard, it was multiple people inside the hotel room. Female, I think maybe be a male and another male probably. So
not exclusive.
So C went to the restroom and Buddy said, "Look, y'all don't say nothing. I'm gonna play a joke on Pimp." And he poured something into his drink. And when he came back from the restroom, he started drinking it and almost immediately started throwing up blood. And what made me believe that, I packed C bags after he passed.
From that same hotel?
From that same hotel. I pulled back the cover of the bed and was blood in the bed. So that's what made me believe that story to be true.
Now the question is, why did Pimp C hate Jay-Z so much? What was the truth behind his hatred? Well, it might have not even been hatred all along, but something else entirely. According to Pimpin' Ken, who was close friends with Pimp C, he claims that Pimp C had a secret tape of one of the most famous female R&B singers hooking up with another rapper that's not her current husband. According to Ken, if Pimp C had dropped this tape, it would have been bigger news than the Kardashian tape.
Let's go back. You had mentioned Pimp C earlier. With that being said, did Pimp C really have a sex tape of somebody in the industry that would break the internet? Still trying to find out who was in the Pimp C tape.
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and there was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he had a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire. Whoever it was, they had to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose, you know, as a Montana goose. You know what I mean? So, you know, they also know who was having money at the time. So it's not really hard to figure out. But, you know, but no, the only reason why I want to tell it is because Pimp C is not here.
As you heard for yourself, Ken claims that he saw the tape with his own eyes, showing this female R&B superstar being filmed by Pimp C hooking up with another rapper in the studio. Now, if the information that was released recently of P. Diddy filming many celebrities doing things like this, it isn't far-fetched to think that this tape existed. While he doesn't admit who the woman is, he does admit that people in the comment section were able to catch who it was. What many people in the comment section were saying was that the tape was of Beyonce allegedly hooking up with someone that wasn't Jay-Z. Now, this all makes perfect sense, as Pimp C wanted to stay as far away from Jay-Z as possible. I believe he became suspicious of Jay-Z knowing that he had this tape that would ruin his wife's image. In 2007, Jay-Z had just married Beyonce. The last thing he wanted was a video of his now wife hooking up with another rapper leaking. That would have been a very bad look for Jay-Z if a tape like that would have leaked. This has led many people to believe that Jay-Z might have wanted Pimp C taken out. Jay-Z and R. Kelly first connected in 2002 to do an album called The Best of Both Worlds, releasing it in March of that year. This is the same year Kelly would get indicted for his crimes in June. You would think Jay-Z would immediately distance himself from Kelly, who was being accused of such disturbing crimes, but he didn't.
I know you mentioned The Best of Both Worlds with R. Kelly. Have you maintained any type of contact with R. Kelly since?
We spoke, like, you know what I'm saying, we spoke a couple times. I don't really want to be like, I know he's getting calls from everywhere, and you know, some people really concerned, some people just want to be nosy. They want to know what's going on in God's life. You know, I don't want to be another person like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, got love for the dude. You know, I mean, if he's guilty, just hope and pray that he get help. If not, I wish everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody embrace him, you know, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But our contact is just sparse.
Okay. Were you, as a solo artist, were you concerned about that whole ordeal affecting you the next time you came out with this album?
I was not concerned for my career. Like, it's for an artist. I know, like, I mean, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that. I know I ain't have nothing to do with that. So, you know, the alleged incident, you know what I'm saying? So
he actually did another album with him called Unfinished Business in 2004, and even went on tour with him the same year. The tour was called the Best of Both World Tour, and it ended early after Kelly and Jay-Z were having disagreements, and allegedly, Kelly got hands put on him by Jay-Z's people. Even though the tour ended in bad blood, the fact that Jay-Z stood around Kelly after the allegations is a big red flag to me. I am pretty sure Jay knew what Kelly was into, as by the second album, he had already gotten indicted for his crimes, and the video footage of the crimes were circulating everywhere. On top of this, Jay-Z went on tour with him and was in the studio with him hanging out with the same girls Kelly was known to hang out with. We know just what kind of girls Kelly had around him. I believe Jay-Z participated in the same disturbing activities as Kelly did. Knowing that Jay-Z got with Beyonce when he was in his 30s and she was only 18, you can tell he likes girls much younger than him like Kelly does. Nas, who once had beef with Jay-Z, has stated that it was known Jay-Z knew about the disturbing activities Kelly was involved in while he was working with him, even claiming that he had a 14-year-old in the studio while they were recording. In my opinion, I believe many artists that were hanging around Kelly were joining in his activities. This is another reason I believe he was let go in 2008, as he had so much dirt on so many people. I believe Jay-Z was one of those artists who Kelly had dirt on, and this is the reason I believe Jay wanted to take Kelly out. Recently, Kelly's former cellmate, Ronnie Bo, has come out in an interview with Doggy Diamonds to talk about how Kelly believed Jay was trying to get rid of him. He states it all started happening during the Best of Both World tour. This is where Jay-Z's problem with Kelly began, after working with him on 2 albums. According to Ronnie Bo, Kelly told him that Jay was the one behind his takedown.
You said that he said a lot of stuff about Jay-Z, so I don't know where to begin. Basically, does he feel like it's powers that be in the industry that has a witch hunt against him?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, most definitely. You know, he spoke on Jay-Z. You know, again, everybody in there was asking him about Aaliyah and Jay-Z. Like, he was more open about speaking on Jay-Z. Well, he felt like Jay-Z had an issue with him. You know, he felt like Jay-Z wanted the spotlight at the time. R. Kelly was kind of bigger than Jay-Z in certain venues though. Like, of course, in Madison Square Garden, they was predominantly Jay-Z fans. Well, he felt like Jay-Z tried to get him that night. He said calling him and shit, like, you know, threatening, made him feel like he didn't even want to go there. He didn't even want to perform. But he didn't know. Like, he didn't immediately feel like, man, this got something to do with Jay-Z.
What did he feel about Jay-Z and the industry? Did he feel like that? He felt like the industry on the whole had, you know, Jay-Z and higher up that was out to get him and set him up and stuff like that. Go into that.
He basically said Jay-Z a fucking sellout.
As you heard for yourself, Ronnie Bo states that Jay was trying to have Kelly eliminated during the Madison Square Garden concert. According to Ronnie, it was because Jay was jealous of Kelly, but that makes zero sense and sounds like something Kelly made up to cover the real reason Jay was trying to eliminate him. In my opinion, I believe Jay did a lot of dirt with Kelly, and they eventually had a disagreement, and now Kelly had that dirt over Jay-Z's head. I believe this is exactly what R. Kelly was referring to when he got arrested. See, after Kelly was found guilty, his team was working with the police to get him a shorter sentence. In return, Kelly states he would have exposed all the celebrities who were into the sick things he was into. In my opinion, one of those names Kelly was ready to tell on was Jay-Z. Ronnie Poe also stated that Kelly thought the industry came after him because his catalog was worth billions, and he was looking for a way to acquire his catalog. So he claims this is the reason the label set him up to get arrested.
Trying to help him with his case, and I was just asking him, like, bro, why you think they doing this to you? I asked him, like, bro, why you think they doing this to you? And that's what he basically was saying. Like, when I find out my catalog worth $1 billion, and I'm hearing how Jay-Z supposed to be worth this, these other people supposed to be worth that, and I'm knowing that I'm supposed to be worth more than them, like, I start trying to dig into this and see, like, damn, why I don't got my money? Why I'm not on Forbes? And like, where my money at? So when he started digging into that, start trying to, you know, get them contracts modified and all that so he can get his money, then that's when they, you know, threatening basically.
Ronnie also states that Kelly told him he was encouraged by the label to rap inappropriate lyrics about age being nothing but a number.
These labels, you know about creative control over your music.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they got authority that they put in these contracts to where it's like, we want to control your image, the type of music you put out. So they wanted him to be portrayed as this sex figure, you know what I mean? And we want you to write songs about, to make it sound like you talking about a young girl, because that plays on their fantasies and other people's fantasies. Like the people behind the music industry, creepy motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And this is a sell because it plays on the fantasies of creepy motherfuckers like them, you know what I mean?
So he said that he felt like the industry accepted and wanted him, the powers that be wanted him to say that right age ain't nothing but a number and shit. Yeah. Okay. That's what he told you that? He told you that?
Yeah, implying that they use Kelly to sell a fantasy to people and to normalize that type of mentality. In my opinion, I can believe this. I know Kelly was guilty and participated in all those evil things, but I also do feel that the label encouraged it all. The whole industry knew Kelly had a relationship with Aaliyah. They knew he married her when she was underage. The whole industry also knew about the tape that showed Kelly doing very disturbing things. To me, it's very telling that they decided to arrest Kelly 20 years after his crimes were initially discovered. It would have been interesting to see who Kelly would have exposed. It's obvious they shut him up, and when he offered to talk, there was no one there to listen. How long could Roc Nation keep this up? How many people who speak out are they gonna be able to silence? At this point, things are getting too obvious, and Jay-Z isn't going to be able to escape his fate anymore. Now let's move on to the next category in Jay's allegations, his alleged involvement with minors.
Here we go.
At the end of last year, Jay-Z was accused of R-wording a 13-year-old alongside of Diddy back in the 2000s. Jay-Z denied the allegations relentlessly and not only defended himself against these allegations, but aggressively attacked the lawyer and victim for even accusing him of it. Thankfully for Jay-Z, the lawsuit was dropped after he sent private investigators to the victim's home and forced her to say it was all a lie. The judge then used this to throw out the entire lawsuit just like that. Most people think because the situation was taken care of, that Jay-Z is innocent, but his known past behavior of dealing with underage girls says otherwise. It is believed that Jay started a relationship with Beyonce when she was around 18 or 19, but there's plenty of evidence that would suggest Jay-Z was already messing with Beyonce when she was 16 or 17, proving that Jay-Z has been into them young since the very beginning. While Jay-Z and Beyonce are seen as one of the most powerful couples in Hollywood, no one seems to realize the relationship shouldn't have happened to begin with. When Jay-Z met Beyonce, she was only 16 years old, even though Beyonce claims she met Jay back in 1999 when she was 18 or 19. In this interview, Jay-Z tells us otherwise, as in 2007 he did an interview with Charlie Rose where he told Charlie he met Beyonce 10 years prior to that day. 10 years before 2007 would have been 1997, which would have made Beyonce only 16 when they met. If we look at Jay when Charlie asked him this question, he starts to act a bit suspicious. When he's asked how long ago he met Beyonce, he didn't give a straight answer, only that he's known her since she's been recording music, then stating that it was 10 years prior.
Because Beyonce has a deal and they know I know her. So, but
how long have you known her?
Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
How long? However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
was it 5 years? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago. I met her 10 years ago.
But did you say to yourself at that time, "Wow"?
I said, yeah, that's a fantastic talent.
Was that what you said?
Yeah. Because
as you heard for yourself, you can see Jay-Z didn't want to answer that question. He appeared a bit nervous and was caught off guard by that question. The look on his face alone shows guilt and that he didn't want to answer. What this interview proves is that Jay-Z, who was 28 years old in 1997, was already around Beyonce when she was only 16 years old. We all know he was attracted to her since he met her, as just a couple years later, they would start their public relationship. Jay would go on to eventually marry Beyonce, and they ended up becoming hip-hop's most loved couple. In my opinion, it's obvious Jay-Z was pursuing Beyonce romantically since he met her at 16 years old. I'm confident that they had already been together since then. All Jay did was wait until she was of legal age to make it public. This alone suggests that Jay-Z is a certified pedophile. While people might say that they are at least together to this day, that's not the problem. The problem is Jay, who was a big star at the time, on top of the music industry, took advantage of a young Beyonce who was 16 trying to make it in the music industry. At that moment, Beyonce was willing to do anything to make it. She obviously got with a much older Jay-Z because of the opportunities it would provide her. I believe Jay-Z took complete advantage of his power, and Beyonce wasn't even his only victim. When we look at Jay-Z's relationship with Rihanna, it further confirms that he's a certified pedophile. Jay-Z and Rihanna's relationship goes back to the beginning of her career. Just like Beyonce, Rihanna met Jay-Z when she was only 16 years old, trying to make it in the music industry. In fact, the first time Jay-Z met Rihanna was the day he signed her. The way that Rihanna got discovered and signed, to me, always left me with many questions. Rihanna was a teenager in Barbados with no connections when she somehow managed to get into a hotel room with Evan Rogers, a music producer who just so happened to be vacationing in Barbados. Rogers would have Rihanna perform a song in a hotel room alone with him and two other 16-year-old girls, where he decided that he was only interested in Rihanna. Rihanna would end up signing a production deal with Rogers' production company, Syndicated Rhythm, and then put out a demo. Two A&Rs working at Def Jam heard the demo and quickly showed it to no other than Jay-Z himself. Rihanna was then flown to New York City, where she would meet with Jay-Z. This is when she performed for the label, with them being blown away by her performance. L.A. Reid, the head of the label, told Jay-Z not to let Rihanna leave the building without making her sign the dotted line. This is when Jay-Z locked Rihanna into his office, and according to Rihanna, Jay-Z told her that there was only two ways to get out of this office. You either sign this record deal and walk out the front door, or you can go out through the window from the 29th floor. Rihanna would sign her first major record deal at exactly 3 a.m., and it just so happened to be a 6-album deal.
The diva Rihanna. She's from Barbados?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, she's Bayesian. How did you come in contact with her? I mean, did you fly over there?
Jay Brown had actually bought me the song. She had a song now that's I wouldn't say massive because of rules when I first heard the song. And then, he kept going, Jay Brown, he kept being persistent. I was like, bring her by. And when she walked in the office, I was like, she just had, it was just something about her. It was just, she had this, something about it. Then she performed the song, and I was like, okay. Okay, then, we sat down and we talked. And they were talking about how she would stay in the studio and try to get the verse over, and then come back the next day. I was like, work ethic, everything is there. So we signed it that night. We didn't let her leave the office. Really? The 3 a.m. was when that contract got signed. So the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 a.m. Yeah, I was absolutely certain.
Oh yeah, she said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief. But he said about a window and a door or something. Oh, and he said, he said it one more. He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign, or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. With the deal sign, or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
What makes this so disturbing is that it was rumored that Jay-Z had hooked up with Rihanna in 2005, around the time she was 16 or 17 when he signed her. Apparently, this led to Beyonce leaving Jay-Z for 2 years and starting to hate Rihanna, and it's also the reason Beyonce and Rihanna never made music together. It's even believed the song Bow Down by Beyonce was created as a diss song to Rihanna. This was a rumor all over the media at the time that was eventually put to rest when Jonathan Hay came out and declared he started the rumor. For those who don't know Jonathan Hay, he was a music industry publicist for many years. He was actually Rihanna's publicist when this all happened. When things were getting bad for Jay-Z because of this so-called rumor, Jonathan came out and claimed he started the rumor to build up hype for Rihanna's song. The only thing is, this was a lie, and Jonathan Hay didn't start the rumor, he was just covering it all up. I recently did an interview with Jonathan Hay where he told me all about this. When I asked him about the Rihanna and Jay-Z incident, he confessed the truth to me. He told me that it wasn't a rumor at all, and Jay-Z and Rihanna really did hook up when she was only 16. According to Jonathan, he was paid off by someone on Jay-Z's team in order to declare to the media that he started the rumor. They did this to cover up the fact that Jay-Z was in a relationship with Rihanna when she was 16. The fact that you mentioned Jay-Z, I want to actually ask you a question about Jay-Z. You said in that interview with Jaguar Wright and Real Life Productions, you stated that you were actually the one responsible for spreading the rumor that Jay-Z and Rihanna had hooked up. Now, my question to you is, do you believe that at all? Did you believe that rumor before you said it, before you claimed it? Do you believe that there's any truth? Not saying that you're accusing Jay-Z, let's make this clear, we're not trying to get anybody in trouble here. But do you believe that there's a possibility that that could have been true?
So as far as the rumor, I came out and said that I started the rumor a long time ago because I was told that I would be rewarded significantly.
Okay.
For coming out and saying that I started the rumor, and it stuck.
See there?
I was to be the one that was to fall on the sword, so to speak.
Now, you didn't answer the question. You don't have to if you don't want to. At any moment, did you personally feel that they could have had something going on? Jay-Z and Rihanna?
Definitely.
You can say allegedly, definitely.
Not allegedly.
Okay, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
See, I agree with you 100%. That's what I believe as well. And the people that reached out to you, they essentially made you cover this up. They, like you said, made you throw yourself on the sword and take responsibility for something that you weren't even the one 100% behind the rumor. They just told you to say it. Correct?
Correct. What is that goat thing called? That's like satanic.
It's called Baphomet.
That. Yeah, I saw a huge one of those at one of the title Roc Nation parties in New York. And that was I've never seen anything like that. That freaked me out. Like when you walked into the party room for title, and Jay-Z wasn't even there, but you know, all his staff was like the Roc Nation, because see, Roc Nation was very, very much in charge of title. And so like all the Roc Nation people were there, but that was weird. And that statue had like the title logo on it. I was thinking, wow, this is crazy, compelling, you know?
And it was just right in the open, like you walked in and it was just
it was right as you walk in. I'm sure there has to be. I'll look and see if I can see any pictures online of it, because it seems like there would be. I can't think of the name of it. It was like a museum or and it had this bottom floor, this party room, and that's where it was. And like right when you walked in, I don't think it was put there for the party. I feel like it was always there, but I'm not for sure.
And this is a location in downtown Manhattan?
Yeah, and yes, of course.
Okay. That you mentioned Jay-Z though. In the last interview, we spoke about Rihanna and Jay-Z. And when I asked you if you believe they had anything together, you said that you do believe that there might have been something that was going on with them. I want to ask you if you heard of this story, you know, during that time, because this is what I believe was floating around the internet. They were saying that allegedly Jay-Z gave Rihanna an STD, and that Rihanna allegedly gave that STD to Chris Brown. And that's what caused the fight, the breakup or whatever, that, you know, that Jay-Z was allegedly sleeping with with Rihanna at the same time that Rihanna was sleeping with Jay-Z. Did you hear anything about that? Would you happen to know if that's true, or maybe not true, but if you heard anything about that?
I did hear those rumors, you know, and when you said Jay-Z was sleeping with Chris Brown, I also heard that rumor as well.
Oh, so you heard a rumor of Jay-Z hooking up with Chris Brown as well?
Yeah, you know, because like Diddy, Jay-Z's sexual preference is peculiar to say the least.
And that's another thing. In the last interview, you said that Jay-Z was bi, and that you were 100% sure that he was.
Correct.
How do you know this?
I know it from being around, and without saying, you know, the name of the people, because I know a lot of people don't want to be involved in these type of things because they've moved on in their lives or they have families and everything else. But I was there and I witnessed some very, you know, questionable behavior for sure. And like the tour that I was on with Jay-Z, they did a documentary. It was Jay-Z, DMX, Amil. They made what was the name of the documentary? But it was that tour, and you know, they had trans women on the bus, and not like the 2024 trans women that you see, where like sometimes you're surprised. You know, you see these stuff on like Instagram and videos of like a woman that, you know, it's like, wait a minute, you know, that was a man before. It was like clearly like a person, almost a male. I don't want to say drag, but clearly you could tell that
it's a boy.
It was a man. There wasn't any mistaking that this trans woman was on the tour bus and was going out on tour, you know, with Jay-Z, Memphis Bleak, PD Crack, all that whole entire tour.
Recently, I did a video on Jay-Z, right? And I spoke about, it was actually on Pimp C. The video was on Pimp C, and because his close friend, Pimpin' Ken, he claims that he has a videotape that Pimp C recorded of a famous R&B singer and hooking up with a man that's not her current boyfriend or her current husband. And everyone in the comments said that it was Beyonce in the video that Pimp C has. And in another interview he did, the Pimpin' Ken, he basically admitted that the people in the comments were commenting that it was the right person. So he's basically admitted that it was Beyonce.
Right.
Did you hear anything of that sort, like of Jay-Z having similar behavior to Diddy, in the sense that, you know, he would let his woman be recorded with other men or stuff like that?
Well, Jay-Z 100% is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch his woman, Beyonce, with other men.
And how do you, do you have any proof of this, or did you hear about this somehow?
Like being around and being direct, and them other people around him asking the woman that I was dating at the time was asking if I would be into anything like that, but also being vague where, you know, like rejecting, you know, the possibility. He could always, you know, deny it. And, oh, that's not what we meant. But that's exactly what he meant. But yeah, just like I said, being around, you know, Roc Nation and Tidal and all those things, it was pretty common knowledge that, you know, Jay-Z is someone like Diddy that's now out in the open that likes to watch his wife with other men.
Okay. So do you think that there is a possibility that tape exists? Maybe it's not, because the whole running rumors that Jay-Z might have gotten Pimp C, you know, eliminated or taken out because he had this tape of Beyonce hooking up with another man, allegedly. And he also had beef with Pimp C didn't like Jay-Z. In the video I did, I showed repeatedly how many people around Pimp C said that he had hatred for Jay-Z, and they blamed it on Tupac, but it didn't make sense to me because Pimp C is from the South, Tupac is from the West Coast.
Dude,
they didn't know each other at all. There was no relationship there whatsoever. But
man, this don't have nothing to do with Pimp C death, and that don't have nothing to do with Beyonce. Pimp was saying out of his mouth, and he had a lot of people, he had a lot of pull that knew Jay-Z. He was saying out of his mouth that he seen Jay-Z with other dudes, and he buy. Look, man, if you want to be with other dudes and you want to come around us like you all hard and gangster, but yet we finding out you sleeping with other men. What's up with that? This is what Pimp C was saying about Jay-Z, and Jay-Z didn't like it. Your little secret is being put out, so he had to hurry up and cover it up. That's what happened. This don't have nothing to do about Beyonce. Everybody know Beyonce sleep with everybody.
It makes sense to me because Pimp C is from the South, Tupac is from the West Coast.
That don't have nothing to do with it. They didn't know each
other at all. There was no relationship there whatsoever. But somehow he hated Jay-Z so much and blamed it on that. I think it was just like something to cover up the real reason, you know?
Right.
But that's interesting. So you're saying for a fact that Jay-Z is into similar behavior as Diddy. He likes to, basically what Cassie was put through. He likes to watch his girl get in relationships with other men while he sits there and enjoys himself.
That's correct. And that's one of the reasons that we said in the last interview when I was talking about him being bi, because what else is that when you want to watch another man with your wife and you're pleasuring yourself? I know it's cuckolding. I know all that, but like, this is firsthand information from something that I've dealt with, an experience that I've dealt with, that Jay-Z is definitely a cuckold, and it's not women, it's men that he wants to see with Beyonce.
You know,
that's why I was like, he's definitely bi, you know?
I agree. I think that, I'll say this. If he wasn't embarrassed of this, or if he felt that it was something not to be embarrassed of, I don't think he would be hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that especially in this day and age when you could do whatever the heck you want. So I don't think that he would be hiding that if he wasn't embarrassed of it. He also comes from a different time, but still, it's the same behavior with Diddy. Diddy obviously didn't want people to know that he was paying men to come do stuff to Cassie while he did that.
Correct.
So do you think that there's more people like Diddy and Jay-Z that are doing this in there? Is this something normal in the music industry?
I don't know. They're the only ones that I know that are really, you know, into it, and they were at the very top of the food chain, and that's their like fetishes and their kinky, you know, behavior that they like to, you know, partake in. But I don't think Jay-Z is as sloppy as Diddy. It seems like Diddy got very comfortable with his sexual appetite and his perversions, which is like he would just fly in all these different male, you know, escorts and, you know, for his parties and stuff like that. Whereas I think with, you know, Jay-Z, like he has to have a, you know, like a relationship and a sort of trust. And that's why it was really surprising to me to see, you know, Ray J come out speaking against, you know, Jaguar Wright. And he's like, Beyonce, because Ray J is one of those people that is allowed to be with Jay-Z's wife.
Interesting. So you're saying essentially that Ray J is one of those men that Jay-Z would watch hook up with Beyonce, allegedly?
Correct.
Very interesting. You know, have you heard of Delima before?
No.
Wow.
Delima is actually the religion that Aleister Crowley founded. It's a cult religion, and it focuses on sex magic. Have you heard of sex magic before?
No.
Well,
just from like the Chili Peppers song or the album.
Yeah, they're also followers of Aleister Crowley. Sex magic is a form of ritual magic, and it's all about ritual energy and ritual forces. And one of the things that they would do is do exactly what you're saying right now. They would have their wives, their significant others, hook up with other members of the religion as a ritual, and they would watch, and they would all partake in the ritual together, and it would release, sexual energy to them. I know for a fact that Jay-Z is a Delimite because he actually wore Aleister Crowley. He wore a sweater with Aleister Crowley's Creole on it, "Do what thou wilt," which it really is, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." It's the main concept of the religion of Delima. And that's why I ask you if you've seen anything satanic within the music industry, because Baphomet is also another deity that's honored in Delima. Delima doesn't see anything, they don't see any specific deity as their god. They channel these deities. The fact that you're saying that you know for a fact, or you are at least, you think that you've heard that Jay-Z watches Beyonce do this, would you say that they're definitely into some ritualistic type of behavior?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And listen, this is something that I've witnessed, firsthand being around, their type of situations and people that they are, that they are into,
As you heard for yourself, Jonathan confirms that they were indeed together, and this is someone who was working with Rihanna at the time. He confesses that he was paid to claim he started the rumor and that it wasn't true, when in reality it was true, and they were just paying him to cover it all up. Jonathan says that he does believe Jay-Z and Rihanna were in a relationship when she was 16. Now looking at this, it proves that this is how the industry keeps its secrets. This is how they clean up their scandals. They know the fans will believe anything they're told, even when the evidence is right there in the open. Beyonce literally left Jay-Z for 2 years because of his relationship with Rihanna. This again suggests that Jay-Z is a certified PDF file. I honestly believe this happened, as it was basically known in the industry for years. Jay-Z knows new girls coming in the industry would do anything to make it to the top. Rihanna went from Barbados with no connections to Jay-Z's office, getting a record deal, to eventually becoming a billionaire. It's obvious she paid the price to Jay for her success. Another teen girl that Jay seems to have been into was Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown had signed a major record deal with Def Jam back in 1996 when she was between 17 and 18 years old. Jay actually played a large role in Foxy being signed to Def Jam, as he had worked with her early in her career when she was only 15 or 16. Back in the early 90s, Jay-Z was seen very close to young Foxy, and the rumor was that Jay-Z was actually being intimate with Foxy since 1994, when they first started making music together. Jay-Z recorded Ain't No with Foxy Brown back in 1994, even though the song was released in 1996. In 1994, Foxy was no older than 15 or 16 years old. People believe that at this point in time, Jay-Z, who was 25 years old, was allegedly already hooking up with Foxy at that age. Even TMZ posted an article where they claim Foxy Brown stated Jay-Z hooked up with her when she was only 14 and he was 24. Foxy claims Jay-Z was her first time, and according to this TMZ article, she even claimed that Jay-Z was into transitioned women. If you were to ask me, I think this is the truth. We already know Jay-Z is into younger girls, as he got with Beyonce and Rihanna at 16. It's obvious Foxy, just like Beyonce and Rihanna, was taken advantage of by Jay. Many people have actually said Jay-Z was in a relationship with Foxy Brown, one being Nick Cannon, who during an interview with Dame Dash presses him on the situation. Nick Cannon straight up brings up the fact that when he met Foxy Brown, she was 16 and was introduced to him as Jay's girl, and this made Dame Dash visibly uncomfortable.
Was Foxy Brown signed?
I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
But that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown. I'm just asking a question. I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everything.
You the boss.
Yo, don't beat around the bush. Say what you want
I'm
to say.
just asking.
What do you mean by that question?
I'm just asking.
What do you insinuate?
I'm not insinuating. I just asked a question. I thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds like you.
All I'm saying is in this industry, we live in these glass houses.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. Y'all keep asking me questions. I want to ask him because he ain't here. Ask him. I ain't got to do with that, and I don't even know nothing about that. You playing?
You my man.
I know, not with me. When you say that Foxy was 16 when she got signed, why did you say that just now?
When I first was introduced to who Foxy was, I thought there was something between Foxy and Jay.
We gotta ask Jay.
As you heard for yourself, Nick Cannon brings up Jay and Foxy Brown's relationship, and Dame starts to panic. He instantly started getting defensive, which reveals he knows something nefarious happened between the two. Nick Cannon then tells Dame that he was introduced to Foxy when she was 16 as Jay's girl. Then Dame tells Nick, just ask Jay-Z about that, not him. This obviously reveals Dame Dash knows Jay-Z was with Foxy since a young age. He knows Jay's dark secrets. Foxy allegedly hooked up with Jay young and then got signed to the same label as him. You tell me if that's a coincidence. Right now, he's hanging on by a thread as the internet has completely turned against him. While recently things have been sort of quiet when it comes to Jay, he ended up back in the headlines after he once again got exposed, this time by his own secret son. A man by the name of Rymir Satterthwaite has been claiming for several years that he is the biological son of rapper Jay-Z. The man claimed that back in the 90s when Jay-Z was in his 20s, he met a young girl that was between the age of 14 and 15 years old. Jay-Z would allegedly hook up with his 14 or 15-year-old even though he was in his 20s. The young girl would end up pregnant with Jay-Z's baby and eventually gave birth. This young woman raised her son with no help or support from Jay-Z, despite him becoming a successful and ultra-rich rapper. Rymir, who many do agree resembles Jay-Z, has been calling him out for years, trying to get him to take a paternity test.
Do you believe wholeheartedly that Jay's your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not as far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do. Like it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take it. No, I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I can take me being embarrassed. Like this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair. I'm at to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now. And she been saying, Sean Carter, that's what she was calling me first before she was calling Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, you know, had my little brother and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really, this was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father, and I just want you to know. She continued to tell me that over the years and over the years and over the years, even until I was grown. He never tried to contact me in any type of way, and that's all I'm asking is like, 'cause I honestly really want the case to be over with. Like I've been going through, just like I said, a lot, and as I said, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not trying to do this to make somebody seem like a bad person, a bad father. I'm not trying to make nobody seem like a bad person enough, and I'm just really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth, and if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life, and I just want it over with.
For many years, Jay-Z didn't just refuse to take the paternity test, but he never even acknowledged the allegations, pretending like he wasn't hearing the internet talk about it. He ignored his son and his story and just moved past the allegations. But with all the recent allegations that have been made about Jay-Z and minors, the internet has started to ask some questions, especially after Rymir filed a lawsuit against Jay-Z, accusing him of ignoring his request to take a paternity test to prove if he's his father. The lawsuit also claims that Jay-Z has been using shady methods to silence his son and prevent them from exposing him. Now, this has everyone questioning if Jay-Z is really this man's father. After years of remaining silent and ignoring the allegations, Jay-Z has finally decided to acknowledge it and respond in court. Recently, he and his lawyer responded to the lawsuit filed by Rymir, calling him a liar and a fraud who is just fabricating stories. He asked the judge to dismiss the case and clear his name. This is something Jay-Z is becoming famous for, using his money and lawyers to silence anyone saying anything he doesn't like. While Jay-Z is denying this man being his son verbally, for some reason, he won't take the paternity test to prove it factually. He wants the courts to drop it so that he doesn't have to take the paternity test. I wonder why. It's most likely because he knows he's guilty. He knows he's the kid's father, and most importantly, he knows he's a PDF file. It's not a surprise that Jay-Z hooked up with a 14-year-old. We all know he likes them young. Kendrick should have made the song about Jay-Z instead of Drake, as Jay loves them young and he's always liked them in their teens. He knows that if he takes the paternity test, he's cooked. It would prove that he indeed impregnated a teenager as a 20-something-year-old, which makes him a PDF file. It would also prove that he's a deadbeat dad. Even though he's a billionaire, he chose not to take care of his son and raise him. In my opinion, the way Jay-Z is acting clearly shows his guilt. He wears it on his sleeve. He thinks using his lawyers as a shield makes him look innocent. In reality, it only shows his guilt more than ever. We are clearly seeing a pattern of behavior when it comes to Jay-Z. Every single time there's accusations made against him, instead of him addressing it head on, this is what he does every time. He has his lawyers and his money take care of the problem, but if you ask me, it only makes him look more guilty. It's clear to me that this man is Jay-Z's son. That's pretty obvious. Not only do they look alike, but the fact that Jay-Z denies and refuses to take this paternity test, it just further proves it. Let me ask you this. If they were accusing you of being this person's father, right? And you know you didn't do it, wouldn't you just take the paternity test to get it over with? These allegations paint Jay-Z as a monster that is way worse than Diddy. A monster who runs around thinking he's unstoppable and has no limitations to his actions. Mind you, these are only the known things about what Jay has done to people. There's still a lot of stuff that is unknown, but there is so much that is coming out that Jay-Z is looking cooked as the days go by. Gone are the days that people were afraid to speak out against him. There's only so many people Roc Nation can silence before it gets too obvious. While we know Jay is protected by the elite, they can only cover for him so long. Soon, just like Diddy, Jay will make the wrong person mad who will knock the dominoes down and reveal everything. Jay-Z is running on borrowed time, and soon his day will come. We just have to keep putting that pressure on him. There shouldn't be an organization like Roc Nation that's allowed to do whatever they want with no consequences. This criminal organization needs to be held accountable. Jay-Z is a Masonic puppet who sold out years ago. He was used to corrupt millions of people and did it so well he was given a gatekeeper position, a position that he was using for evil. Jay-Z and Diddy are evil twins, and soon they will be in the same place together. Well, I'm gonna end this one here. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yes. I'ma be honest. I'ma be honest. Can't get that big without doing some crooked stuff. Oprah. Can't get that big without doing some good crooked stuff. Jay-Z. What's the boy name? The jailbird, y'all know, Puffy. Can't get that big doing, you know good and well. Look at Denzel Washington, the #1 black actor. He chilling, laid back. Then you got Tyler Perry, want to be all super duper big. Comes a time in your life you just gotta chill and be easy. But if you want it all, I want to be #1. I want to be the #1 YouTuber. No, man. I want to be the #1 person to help people. I want to be the #1 person who change as many people's mind and say, you know what, Uncle Mike is right. We all need to help somebody. Let me get out my house right now and go down the street and help somebody. That's what I want to be. I want to get everybody to notice and understand and wake up. Wake up. Wake up. I can't believe Diddy locked in a cell, tunnels under his house, and he can't make bail. That's my joint right there. I've been missing that one. Look here, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here. I got one more video to do. I gotta take a nap. I am tired. I got things I gotta get done before I actually go off to the Philippines, baby. Time to go back home. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. This one don't do it. Peace out.